Today is the day we've been waiting for this. Chloe, your solo debut album in pieces.
Yes, today is the day. It's like crazy.
We have been I love how I'm now part of this, right? I'm like, we
You
have been
are.
waiting for this moment, but this is it. You've been working so hard for this moment. How do you feel?
I think today has been the first day where I've been reminding myself, you can enjoy it. It's okay. Yeah.
I'm proud of you. I know how hard that is for you. You're
Yes.
so hard on yourself.
Yes. So it's just been a whole whirlwind of emotions this week because in the midst of press for the album, also tour rehearsals and things like that, and performing some of the songs the same time while I'm learning them for tour. But it's just so exciting. And I'm like, wow, God, I've been dreaming for this since I started creating it, and it's finally here. So
How long have you been working on this?
like 3 years, a little over 3
Ooh.
years.
That's a long time.
It is, and it evolved from like 3 different projects. Even the songs I played you.
I know they're not
Yep.
on here.
Nope. So
I felt a little left out. I felt like, okay, she kept secrets from me, but this is part of the process,
yeah,
right?
I completely revamped it like 2 to 3 times, and I think where it really felt right, like me, was when like I got back into my producer bag and
Yeah.
like arranging things and piecing things together. That's when it started to come alive, and I was like, okay, I hear Chloe in this.
And you're an executive producer of your own project.
Yes.
Lots of pressure, right? But I don't think people really understand the importance behind that, right? You have to make hard decisions about your baby.
Yeah.
Songs to keep, songs to get rid of. Do you have any regrets so far? Or are you okay? You're rolling the dice with it.
To be honest, over all of the times I continued listening to it and was like holding on to the masters for dear life, I'm really proud of it. I think the story that it tells is honest, and sonically it feels like me. And I think anytime I imagine what would my first album sound like, it would be this, starting with the Someone's Calling intro, which is a Louis Armstrong sample of the Swamp Song. That was something my grandpa always sang to me since I was a little girl, where he'd go, Chloe, in the house in South Carolina. And even from then I was like, I'm going to use that one day with my name. And it's crazy to see how years and years later that has happened. And even down to the artwork, me seeing that photo of the porcelain doll with her heart in her hand, I resonated so much with that. And that's exactly how I felt in that moment. Now that being, the inspiration for my album cover, it's really cool to see how all of these little signs and nuggets from God was like in my face the whole time. And now we're here. So
I know. I'm so excited. Speaking of the artwork, I want to talk about it.
okay.
And it's so beautiful.
Thank you.
My God. Wait, so first let's talk about this.
Yes.
Who came up with this idea? And let's break this down because it's
Yes.
gorgeous just as is, but obviously it's symbolic for a lot of things. So
Yes.
talk to me.
Yes. So the photo of the porcelain doll, it's a bloody heart actually, and you see blood on her chest. And she kind of has like a Victorian like type outfit
Yes.
on. She's in white, and you just see her in the blood. And I felt like I resonated so much with that because I'm always offering and giving up my heart without any thought. I just
Yeah.
here, have it, And that has bit me in the butt a lot.
It's okay.
Yeah.
We live and we learn.
Exactly. But seeing that photo inspired so much. That was when I created Heart on My Sleeve. And that was when I also wrote the What About Me demo. And this past year, I ended up merging the two together. So that's what this represents. So me, I'm a huge scaredy cat. I'm not that gory. So I never wanted it to be like bloody
Right.
for some reason. So it was really cool because me, my godmom, my creative director, we were figuring out ways that we can symbolize, the power of the heart without showing the blood. And light comes from inside. So that's what it
I
represents.
see the light. I see it.
Exactly.
Okay.
So you see that's supposed to represent like the opening of it.
Yes.
And then I have my heart in my hand, almost like a badge of honor. And the reason why I specifically wanted my hair to be red for this, so when I first got my hair this color, it was around when I was performing for AMAs for Have Mercy, when Have Mercy was like skyrocketed through the roof, my
Yes.
first single, solo single. I still can't believe it got platinum. It was my first song ever.
I believe it.
And
Your fans believe it.
that was really crazy.
Congratulations
Thank you.
again.
Thank
But
you.
yes.
So in that moment on the outside with everything just being wonderful career-wise and things like that, I was going and battling through a lot internally.
Really?
Yes. So I only had that hair color for around like a couple weeks, and I didn't want to put it back in because it reminded me of that time that I was going through. So me wanting to have it for this is like me taking my power back from it and not being afraid of something that reminded me of my past and knowing
Wow.
that I grew past that. So even as I was getting it installed for this shoot, I was like in a whole different mindset. I was like, okay. And when I looked at myself in the mirror, I saw a new Chlöe.
Wow. Can you share what you were going through? And it's okay if you
yeah,
don't want to,
yeah.
but if only if you're comfortable.
Yeah. I think when you go through life and the people who you trust the most, who are supposed to be there to protect you, who tell you that they love you, things like that, when you realize that that's not really the case, your whole world seems to blow up.
Absolutely.
And you start looking at yourself as if, what did I do wrong? What's wrong with me? Am I not good enough? Things like that. So I was going through that, plus like self-identity, trying to figure out who I am, because Sis and I are always attached at the hip, and we're so powerful together, but I don't think either of us really knew who we were without the other. And in a weird way, we needed the separation for her to be, you know, filming in London and for me to figure out who I am in LA.
Yeah.
Because without that, I don't think we would have ever let ourselves be apart from each other for more than 2 minutes.
Right.
So now we can be even stronger together because we know who we are individually. But that was a very, 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 very hard time for me. And I'm not shy about talking about it for anyone who asks, because I feel it helps people be less alone and feel less alone when they know that other people are going through it too.
Oh,
And from the outside, it might look like, oh, glitz and glam. Like,
Oh, yeah. I would.
I'm a confident girl because of how I perform and things like that. But there's so
Yes.
many days where I have to pray to God to just pick me up off the floor,
Ooh.
you know? So
Yeah. We're going to talk about that later on in the show, for sure. And then tell me about this photo.
yes, pray it away. I love that. So I was so happy that we got to shoot that in an actual church.
Beautiful.
Yes, and so half of those are real candles, half of them are LED.
Yeah.
But I loved it because it represented finding the light,
Yes. Yes.
and
for sure.
and no matter who tries to pull you out of your character, you're still going back to the light, going back to the light.
right.
And it's like, you got me fucked up, but I'm going back to the light. I'm going back to the light.
Which, listen, takes a lot of patience.
It does. It does. And what I've also realized, I use my art as therapy for
Right.
me. And when I'm really upset and angry, it makes for some of the best performances.
Oh.
Because I feel like I'm singing it to them on the stage.
Were you actually praying in this moment?
I was praying throughout the day because I'm like, I love God so much. So I think I was either that or I was like, damn, my knees are hurting on this concrete floor. It was one of those.
One of the
One or
two.
the other. Yeah.
Well, I love it. The photos are amazing. You guys did a really, really good job.
Thank
with
you
that.
so much.
And, I'm proud of you.
That means
And
a lot, Nessa,
And
coming
listen,
from you.
because I know how hard you've been working on this, and
Yeah.
to have seen you evolve and grow from just such a young age to the now amazing woman that you are. Congratulations. And, we're going to just go ahead and go right into it and talk more about Pray It Away.
Okay.
Okay, to the lyrics.
Yes.
Wow. Okay, opens up definitely with a lot of energy.
Yeah.
A lot of energy. Okay, and then some of the lyrics. Damn, I waste this time for nothing. I faked it all for nothing.
Woo. So this song was written by Jazzy and I. Shout out to her. And I'm such a huge believer that there's no coincidences in life.
Right.
So I kept seeing Jazzy time and time again, like 3 to 5 times in 1 week.
Okay.
And I was like, so then when I was in the studio, I went out to use the restroom and I passed her. I said, Jazzy, what's
It's
up?
a sign.
So she goes in her session. I go back to my session, but I sit in my session. I'm like, no, I saw her for a reason here.
It's a sign.
So we ended up bringing her in there and she played a few demos and church was one of them. And I resonated so much with this because a lot of times I put my feelings and true emotions and what I want to do on the back burner so I can be the bigger person. And to learn to not let other people's outlandish activities and negativity
Right.
affect me and
Right.
change my heart. Because if I lessen myself down to their level, then they've won.
Yeah.
So to me, you can talk about a dude in this. You could talk about, a friend who backstabbed you, family. You could, I feel like we all can resonate with that, because as much as we just want to get you back, we want you to hurt the way we hurt. It's like, you know what? I'm going to pray it away. I'm going to pray away that negativity, and I'm just going to continue being the light that I am, and you're not going to bring me down with you.
Have you ever given into the negativity? Have you ever been like, you know what? Today's the day. I'm going to do it.
Yes and no.
Yes and no. Okay, so like, do you get close and then you reel it back?
The reason why I say yes and no is because I do in my own way.
Okay.
And the past 3 years, I've learned to speak up for myself.
Yes.
Before, I used to be really scared to it. Now, if something doesn't sit right with me, I'm very vocal about it. I'm very passive aggressive. I don't yell, but I will go to your face and I'll be like, da-da-da-da-da. I'll say it just like this, and then I'll keep it pushing. So that's why it's yes and no, because I do it in a dignified way, so I don't lessen my character, but you will get a piece of my mind.
Right, because you can lessen your character.
Yeah.
You're better than me.
Yeah.
Just so you know.
Oh, no,
You're better than me.
no, I'm not.
Nope,
No, I'm not.
You are.
No.
I need to pray it away more often. That's what needs to happen. Every time I think of something, I'm just going to be like, you know what? What would Chlöe do in this moment? Pray it away. God, please help me get through this.
Yeah, but you know the thing is, I'll be like, I'll talk such a big game, like, man, I'm a, yep, they can't. And then the gangster goes away when I'm actually there. So that's why my confrontation moment is a little more calmer. Because I was pumping myself up, and then I kind of
pull it back.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I'm a little bliss. Sometimes.
I love it. What are you most nervous about?
I think people are now going to know what goes on in this mind of mine.
Ooh.
Yeah. And they'll figure out how sassy I can be, how insecure I am, how vulnerable I am, how indecisive and toxic I can be.
The vulnerability right now. Yeah. I'm proud of you for being this honest.
Thank you.
I mean, Pray It Away is a perfect example of really the battle that you have within yourself. Knowing that you can go to your lower self, but you are choosing the high road.
Exactly.
Which is hard.
And it's not for that person, it's for us.
Right.
Like, I'm not choosing the high road to spare you.
Yeah.
So I spare myself.
Now, is that song about anyone in particular, Pray It Away?
That song at the time, it was about someone in particular when I wrote the bridge. So Jazzy wrote the first half and I wrote the later half. And I was thinking it was an ex and I caught him cheating. And
have you been cheated on?
Yes.
Oh, hell no. And how did you find out?
How did I find out? Well,
was it your gut, or did you find actual real evidence?
There was actual real evidence, and that's why we wanted the panties and cheat back.
Okay. Yeah.
Because I have found panties.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Were they cute? Were they not cute?
They were very cute.
Okay.
I knew they weren't mine.
Oh gosh, that's the worst. We're going to get to cheat back.
Yep.
Okay, wait. Yeah, no. And so you took the high road then too?
I did. I took the high road. And I wrote about it.
Oh, yeah. So writing, you would say, because you're a songwriter, is part of a therapeutic process?
It's very therapeutic. Okay. And I think a part of my nerves about the record is that the specific people who inspired the songs, they will know when they listen to the music. So it's like it's finally like my lick back.
Has anyone called you about a song? And
No.
You don't have the same number, I'm assuming. They can't get a hold of you and be like, Chlöe, is this about me?
So, like, the thing is with relationships, once it makes me feel smaller than what I know I deserve, I just exit the premises. And I know we spoke about that, but it's really easy for me to do. Like, I'll cry about it, I'll be sad about it, but I will never go back, no matter what relationship it is. If it's romantic, friendship, family,
Once someone's cut off, that's it.
Yeah, because you have to protect your own space and your own peace.
I think that's beautiful that you have boundaries.
Yep.
I think I've always struggled with that. So I admire you for being clear on what you will tolerate and what you won't, and you'll walk away from it.
Yeah, because I've been on the other side where I just let myself continue to be walked on like a doormat time and time again. And that's when I would be left with regrets. Like, why didn't I speak up for myself? Why didn't I do this? And it's never too late to finally do that for yourself, but I wish I did it a lot sooner. But I'm still young, so I'm happy I'm learning it now. So even though I've been single for a year and I've just been working, I do love, but I'm not going to lessen what I know I deserve just for temporary comfort.
Right.
So it's
Not easy.
no.
And you admit you have toxic traits.
Yes, I do. I feel like, to be honest, I feel like all of us kind of do a little bit.
Of course. Are you kidding?
Like front facing, I'll be like, oh no, babe, everything's great.
yeah.
What?
Yeah, I would never do that.
No, and then you'll see like you'll see me texting like my godmom, Hallie, Joe, and Branson, like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah.
Da 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 da.
Yeah.
I'll be like, oh no, you're fine.
Yeah.
What are you talking about?
It's okay. Sometimes, we swim in the toxic gutter
Yeah.
at times, but it's okay.
Yeah.
Which leads us into your next song, How Does It Feel?
How does it feel?
Okay, we're going to talk about these lyrics. It's with Chris Brown. How was it
Yes.
working with Chris?
It was amazing. I met him on the set for the
that was
music
your first
video.
time?
Yes, because when we first worked together,
Yeah.
virtually, I guess you can say, it was for the Games album. And it was that really beautiful Janet sample and everything. And I remember when I was cutting backgrounds to his voice, I was like, wow, our voice sounds really nice together. It blends so pretty.
Yeah.
So when Hitmaker played me this song with Chris's vocals on it, I was like, oh, this will be really epic. It was so nostalgic. It reminded me of like the No Air, Carrie Hilson
Yeah.
kind of moments that he had with them. And I just was really excited to have mine with him.
Yeah.
So I really love How Does It Feel? And
Tell me
that
about
was,
the sample.
yeah.
Because somebody listening
Dionne
to that-
Warwick, Usher.
Yes. So when you hear it, it gives you this throwback.
It does.
Literally
It
kind of
does.
vibe.
Classic.
Because you hear it. You hear the sample from
Yep.
Dionne Warwick.
Yep.
And then Usher using it on throwback.
Yeah. And
I like that.
I know. And I love the bass line so much. Because as the song ends, I stacked vocals to the bass line and then I arranged it sonically to go into Feel Me Cry. So that was really fun arranging like all the different transitions sonically
Yeah.
with the vocals.
Okay, producer.
And
okay, executive producer.
and figuring out like how the BPMs between the two songs correlate and how I can switch from one key to the next.
Right.
And what notes I should go down the scale for to transition properly into the next. And I even ended up changing how I ended Someone's Calling because I wanted how I ended it vocally to go into the proper key of Pray It Away. So things like that.
Oh, it's all about the details.
Yeah. And How Does It Feel was one of the ones I didn't really have to touch lyrically or production wise because it just felt so right and classic.
Isn't
so,
it great?
Yeah. So all I had to do was layer my vocals all over it.
Would you say, because hearing the song, are there people out there who could say, man, Chloe's the one that got away?
Oh, yeah. Probably like all of my exes. I'm not saying that to like
Oh, I'm saying it to be petty, but yeah.
all of them, every single one.
Now, I know working with Chris, you received some backlash. How do you deal with that? Does it get to you? Does it hurt you? Does it feel like, I can't catch a break? What are your thoughts immediately when you do see something like that?
We're all human, so of course when anything negative is thrown our way, it makes us feel quite small. But I think that's why I just get off of social media. And I really love that record. I'm so grateful to Chris for doing it with me. And I just think it's really special. And I always want the music to speak for itself, So anytime, like, no matter what it is, if I see my name trending or things like that, I tend not to click on it because I don't want to see anything negative that has to deal with it because I don't want to start being in my head. And we all have insecurities, but when people point out specific ones or things, you start like making up ones you've never had before or completely zooming in and magnifying the ones that existed. So for me, it's up to me to create, again, boundaries, healthy boundaries with myself because I know what I can digest and deal with. And I think with social media, everyone, a part of my generation, it adds this extra layer of anxiety and FOMO and feeling like we're missing out on things when we're really not. We just see everyone posting the best versions of themselves constantly. And it's like, well, what about me? Am I that cool? Am I working hard enough? Am I vacationing enough? Is my body tight enough? So
You're amazing. You are beyond enough.
thank you.
And I know it gets tough with social media. I know you had mentioned you took a break from social media.
Completely.
Why is that important? For someone who's listening right now and they might think, oh gosh, it's a lot. They feel something in their chest when they go online
Yeah.
and they're swiping and they're,
It's addicting.
it is. Why is it important to take a break from it?
It's important to take a break from it so our inner thoughts aren't influenced from others. And we can really live with ourselves and our own thoughts and
Right.
not be influenced by other people. And when I stepped away from social media for like 3 months, I think, even before I put Instagram back on my phone, I was so much happier
Really?
because I wasn't comparing myself. I wasn't comparing who I am as a person or my outside appearance and aesthetic or anything like that because I couldn't see it.
Yeah.
And even when I was releasing things, I really wasn't paying attention to what people said about them. I just knew that if I was proud enough of it to release it, then it's good enough for me.
That's a lot of work. How did you get to this point? Because we actually talked about it off camera before we started rolling. I have seen you evolve into the brilliant, young, amazing woman that you are today. I've seen you and your sister young, enjoying this process, right?
Yeah.
I've also embraced you becoming your own person, right? I've seen when things have hurt you, and I've seen how much that really took a toll on you.
Yeah.
And now I see your strength, understanding it exists, but dealing with it.
Yeah.
Where do you get that strength from? Because I think that strength is important. It could help someone right now who might feel those struggles. Where do you get your strength from?
God, number one. She always doesn't like me talking about her, but I have to because if it wasn't for her, I probably wouldn't be here. And, you know, music and my godmom literally saved my life. And I'm grateful for what I went through so that I could put into this music and hopefully inspire others to be open about the pain they go through and not feel like they have to deal with it alone because it can get really heavy sometimes. And that's why I'm such a huge advocate for mental health, because you can't offer yourself to others without being full yourself. So that's where I get my strength from, and my sister and my brothers, Hallie, Sky, Branson, and Joe. And that's where I get it from.
Yeah.
And where I release is within the music and things like that. It's therapy for me. And that's why I keep going.
Oh.
Yeah.
Can we get a Kleenex? Wait, I might even have one because I don't want your makeup. I appreciate your honesty, but I think it's important. I think we're fine. I think Chloe's such a professional. She was able
I
to
was like,
adapt it
"Look,
perfectly.
I saw
a TV
TV show
perfect.
and someone put Q-tips right here when I was like, we
need to do that, right?
Right.
But you know, for someone who's watching or listening and maybe not understanding why this makes you emotional, why does that make you emotional to talk about this growth in your life?
It makes me emotional because it's like I'm really proud of myself because
right.
I know how low I was. And to know where I've come from that, I'm really proud of myself.
I am so happy that you're proud of yourself.
Thank you.
It's hard, especially
Yeah.
you're a perfectionist, which I've seen over the years.
Yeah.
And you could be hard on yourself. And I'm so happy that you are enjoying this process right now.
I am. Sorry.
Yes. No, of course. This is part of the healing and the growing,
Yeah.
when you're able to identify these things and it touch a part of you. And it inspires people to know it's okay to have hard days. It's okay to grow.
And get the fuck back up.
That's right. That's right.
Prove to everyone who told you couldn't do it that
That's
you
right.
can.
That's
And
right.
yourself. you know?
Absolutely. I want to talk a little bit more about relationships. Would you say relationships have been hard to deal with for, where you're at in your life? You're a star, you're an actress, you're an executive producer, you're a songwriter. Are relationships hard for you?
Relationships. So I'm such a mushball and a lover that I would make it work, but I'm really grateful to God because He knows me.
Right.
And if I had a special someone right now, I'd be all up in him. So I feel like, because I don't even have numbers on my phone, I'll just be like, hey, what you doing?
Yeah.
I don't even talk to anybody. I've been completely like focused on myself. When I go home, I cuddle next up to my cat, Apollo.
I love your cat.
He is my baby angel.
I
He gives
love
me
your
the cuddles and snuggles that I need.
I was hoping you were going to bring Apollo today.
He's too much.
Okay.
He's like a jokester and a bad kid all in one.
Oh, no.
He jumps on walls. Now he's a huge cuddler. I love him. So even, let me tell you this, he knows me.
Okay.
On Valentine's Day.
Wow. Okay, let's do it.
Because I was working like for the up part, and then I went to go see Magic Mike with a few of my friends.
Wow. Okay. Let's get spicy,
and
Chlöe.
then this was at theaters. And then I go home. I ordered myself some vegan chicken tenders.
Amazing.
I laid on the couch. Apollo came right up and snuggled with me. I was fine. This was like one of the Valentine's days where I was single and I was happy and full. I had the TV on and I just fell asleep with him in my arms. So yeah,
Perfect night.
it was a perfect night, to be honest.
Yes.
And usually, like Valentine's Day, I'm like, oh, I want somebody.
Oh, yeah.
It wasn't
triggering,
like
for
that.
sure.
It wasn't triggering at all this time. I think it was because of him.
And you're healing.
Yeah, that's
and
true.
you've been working on yourself.
Yeah, very true.
But we got to give you the credit. And Apollo. We're not leaving Apollo out. We love Apollo. Now, earlier in the show, we talked about how you've been cheated on.
Yeah.
Have you ever cheated on somebody? Be honest, Chlöe. Be honest. We've been doing this too long. I feel like I'm family now.
After the fact, yes.
After the fact,
After I found,
cheated.
yeah,
Okay, so really your song Cheat Back
it's true.
is real.
Yeah.
I'm proud of the honesty.
Yep.
I'm proud of you.
Yep. Because like I said, I'm petty.
Yeah.
So you're not going to have one up on me.
Yeah.
So, and then I would leave the relationship.
Okay, wait. So first they cheat, then you find out, and then you cheat back.
They'll never know, but
Oh, wow. So you don't even care that they know that you cheated
It's
on them.
just-
It's just for your
yeah.
personal pettiness. Oh, I love that. I love the pettiness here. Wow. I appreciate the honesty right now. I'm learning.
he knows it's true. Look
God
at her.
mom.
Look at her.
Chlöe is talking to God mom right now. Wow. I didn't think, but I love the pettiness. Now,
Yeah.
it's a little toxic. Okay, it's big toxic.
It's big toxic.
Which is very fitting that you have the toxic king on
Yes.
Cheat Back with you.
Yes. Toxic king and
Future.
queen.
Yeah. I love this. So how did it happen with you and Future getting the
Yes.
song Cheat Back together?
Okay, so I got COVID, and I was just exiting out of a relationship, and I was just stuck in my apartment by myself. This was before Apollo. So I was just like, man, I couldn't perform for New Year's Eve, nothing. I was just stuck in the house.
Now wait, pause. This relationship, this person cheated on you.
Yes.
Is this the person you cheated on?
No.
Okay, so but he just cheated. Okay, gotcha. Okay, Karen.
Yep.
Okay, go on.
And I was just in the apartment alone, like to my thoughts, healing.
Yeah.
That was really not the best time to have COVID.
Right.
So I get a text from Tehran, who I wrote Have Mercy and Told You with. And it's Cheat Back. And it was the first two verses and the hook.
Yeah.
And I resonated so much to it, especially with what I was going through at the time. I immediately opened my equipment with COVID and all, and I just started singing. I wrote that bridge. I wrote it based off of real conversations where he told me he didn't believe in monogamy and all of this stuff and things like that.
And he was trying to convince you that it's okay, but to still be there.
Yeah,
right?
he
Is
was
that
trying.
what it was?
Yeah,
Of
he was
course.
trying to convince me that after we were already official.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Like, don't tell me now, oh, it's hard for me to believe in monogamy after you locked me down.
right. That's crazy.
So I
Right.
put all my emotions in there. I think I even recorded on my photo booth me singing. I had a bright green hoodie on and my hair was in a bun, I think. And I cut and, did all my backgrounds and I sent it back. And I really wanted the octave jump at the last hook to just like,
Yeah.
give that feeling. And I really love the song. It was just the perfect time to get that song.
Now, you had COVID while you're creating the song. Was your nose running? Were you coughing? Like what was
I didn't have a cough. I just felt so weak.
fatigue?
And,
Okay.
like
so you
I
didn't
could
have the
topple over.
full-blown symptom.
No,
Okay.
I could still sing.
Yeah.
I just felt so weak, but it gave me energy and strength
Yeah, yeah.
when I was working on that song, especially with how I was feeling at the time.
Yeah, yeah.
You
I mean,
know?
especially coming out of a relationship, it's a lot.
Exactly.
We're going to talk more about toxic traits that we all may have.
Yeah.
So I want to ask you a couple questions when it comes to toxic
Okay.
energy.
I'm going to be honest.
If your man wants you to stop talking to other people, your friends. Do you listen to him or do you cut him off?
What kind of friends? Is it like a male friend or my family and friends?
All the above. He's like, you know what? I just feel uncomfortable.
Oh, no, I cut him off.
Okay.
Because that's a red flag. Why
Yeah.
don't you want me to be surrounded by people who love me and are
That's
looking out
right.
for my best interest?
Exactly.
That means you're hiding something.
Yep. Exit.
Exit.
Exit. Should you be sharing your location at all times?
No.
Okay. All right.
I don't think, I mean, to be fair, I'm a single woman saying that, but I don't want to have my man's location because if I have it, I'll just be staring at it the whole day.
It becomes toxic.
Yeah. And,
right.
and I don't want him to have my location. And then I
Yeah.
feel like I'm being watched just because I want to get a smoothie. No. I don't want to, that's the beginning of like,
Yes.
no.
Yeah, no, we don't want to go down that whole road. No. Okay, so is it okay to text your ex if he's in a relationship?
No.
Are you okay with your ex hitting you up while you're in a relationship?
He can, but he won't get a response. Now, if it's like,
Happy birthday.
sure, I'll heart it. I'll send an emoji. Thanks.
Yeah.
That's it.
Oh, you're nice.
I'm
To
not
a
mean
capacity.
Yeah,
To a
I'm
certain level.
even on the ones who have cheated on me, we're still cool.
Right.
And because I'm not a negative person,
Sure.
I'll tell them I hope she was worth it. I hope it was great.
Oof.
And
Good luck.
we'll just that's how I end it.
Yeah. Okay. It's pouring rain outside, which it feels like all the time in LA now.
Crazy.
But your man has a 2-seater and needs to either drive you or his mom.
Oh, his mom.
Okay.
I'll get an Uber.
It's fine.
or just let me drive and have the mom in the passenger and you get an Uber.
Yeah, that's even better.
Yeah.
Okay. Should you be sharing your passwords with
No.
your significant other?
Hell to the no. He should not have my passwords. I should not have his. I don't want to go through his phone because again, it's addicting. I don't.
Have
wanna
you gone through someone's
never.
phone?
I've never.
Really?
Not a guy or someone I've been with. I don't want him going through mine.
Has anyone gone through your phone in a relationship?
Not that I know of.
Okay.
I don't think so.
I like how you had to think about that.
Yeah,
Like,
I'm
wait,
like-
did that happen?
Yeah, I don't think so.
Okay.
Because even if I see like a heart emoji next
Right.
to something innocent, that's going to trigger me. Like, who the fuck is this sending you a heart? And it could be innocent. I don't need to know. Just
See, you're trying to avoid the toxic ways.
Exactly.
I respect
Exactly.
it. Okay, now what if you see your friend getting cheated on? Do you confront the cheater or do you not say anything at all?
You want me to be really honest?
Be honest. Confront the cheater?
I don't say anything.
Really?
The reason is because when if the person's in love and doesn't want to leave the relationship, they'll be blind and deaf to whatever you tell them. So I don't want anybody to think I'm butting into their relationship or trying to, I don't know. I would just pretend like I didn't see or hear anything, to be honest.
Interesting. Now, what if it was reversed? Your man is cheating on you, a friend or a family member, whoever sees it. Do you want them to confront your man, the cheater?
Okay, now when you put it like that, I want them to tell me.
Okay, so you want to be told.
I want
Okay.
to be told. I want them to send a picture so I have evidence and receipt so I can
evidence.
show his ass.
Right,
I will
right.
send it to him in text, say God bless, and block him.
and be done with it.
Yeah. But for me, for some reason, I don't want to put a damper on anyone's happiness.
Yeah.
And if they seem happy, I don't want to be the one to give them that bad news.
Yeah.
So I'm a little torn, but I want somebody to tell me.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't want to tell anybody.
You don't want to impose that on somebody,
No.
especially if you know that person and
Yeah.
you know that they might not receive it
exactly
the same way as you.
I'd rather just kind of mind my business.
I am learning so much thanks to this album. I really am.
Yeah.
And I think tell me and totally correct me, but I think that's what you want from everybody is to learn more about you and all the different things that you go through, right?
Exactly.
Okay, well, let's talk about some of the songs.
Yes.
Which song on your solo debut album? Listen, I'm so proud of you. So if I'm oversaying it, tell me.
No, you're not
I mean, but
oversaying
I'm
it.
proud of you, okay? Which
Feels like a
song-
dream.
I know. Which song was the most, in your opinion, is the most toxic song?
Cheat back and body do.
Oh, we're going to talk about that. That's my bonus track, which we are going to get into. It is a must. Hang tight, everybody, please. Okay, which song was the most personal to you?
Make it look easy.
I feel like you're in my head right now. I love that song.
I cried recording it
Oh my gosh.
and writing it.
We're
yeah.
going to talk more about that. That's coming up. I want to know why you cried because yes, we must know. Which song was the hardest song to write?
To be honest, all of them wrote themselves, but the one where I had to, so Told Ya, I was in Atlanta filming Praise This, and I was having a great time on set. In everything else, I was feeling discouraged. And Tehran, we always write happy songs when I'm really sad. So I was telling him, like, Tehran, I don't think I can do this. Like, I'm believing what such and such has told me. Da-da-da. And he's like, no, you're going to tell these motherfuckers that look where I am. So that's when we wrote I Told Ya. So I think, once I got into it, once I started looking at it from a side of confidence, that's when it became easy to write.
Right.
But like to up myself,
Yeah.
to kind of talk my shit, and I wasn't feeling in a place to talk my shit, that was challenging.
Yeah, but you got to do it.
Yeah, and then Missy's on it.
Yeah.
So that's the ultimate I Told Ya.
Which is, hold on, did she give you any gems during this collaboration?
She gave me the greatest gem I could ever have, her voice.
Yeah, well, that, of course.
And then it was her idea to put the I Told You sample again at the end after the outro of that song, because she said that was one of her favorite parts. And she was like, I know it might be too late because you already finished mastering. I said, nope, I'm going to go back and
Anything for
do it
you.
just because you said.
Of course, an icon, a legend. I love Missy, and I just feel like as of recent, she's been getting the flowers she deserves.
Yes.
But I feel like she deserves
Even
more.
more.
The universe.
Even more.
I love Missy Elliott, and so funny quick story. Years and years and years ago, I tweeted just randomly like how much I love her, and she saw it. I think she retweeted it, if I remember, or responded, one of the two. And I remember I almost passed out.
Because it's Missy.
It's Missy
and
Elliott.
She's a Cancer.
Oh, are you a Cancer?
Yes, we're a day apart.
A day apart?
Yes. July 1st and 2nd. And I've known that since I was a little girl.
Oh, yeah.
Because how much I love Missy.
Yeah, you love Missy. Like yeah.
When I
Okay.
got her verse, when I heard the first 10 seconds, I fell out on the floor and I was crying for 20 minutes.
Oh my God.
It was the morning of Super Bowl.
And you were crying for 20 minutes?
Yes. And yeah, they were laughing at me. I was on the hotel floor crying.
But it's Missy. I would be in shambles.
Because in that moment, especially on that song,
yeah.
it was like, oh, maybe I can do this. Maybe I am doing it. So to have her stamp of approval on a song that came from a place of where I felt like I couldn't do it.
Yeah.
That's what made me break down.
And I know we're not supposed to seek validation outside of ourselves, right? But there's something about getting validation from an icon, a legend that you respect and love so much.
Yeah. Because it's like, oh, maybe I do make good
Yeah,
art.
maybe I do.
Maybe I do make good art.
All right, which song has your best bar in it?
Let me think of Worried.
What's the bar?
Let me think of her. My favorite part about business is when you mind your own.
Oh, we
I
love
love
it.
that one.
Yeah. How many times a day do you say that? Or at least in your head to people?
Well, I don't really say it in my head. It was just for that. But a
Yeah.
lot of times in my head, I just roll my eyes.
Yeah.
And I just keep it pushing.
Yeah. No, for sure. Absolutely. And what song do you play when you're happy?
Body Do
Oh,
and I Don't Mind.
yes.
And for some reason, Lose You.
Interesting.
Dream wrote that one. And he sent it a year before I actually cut it. And when I was suspecting this guy of cheating,
Ugh.
and I knew like I was putting a lot of myself on the line for him, it resonated differently with me. And I was like, I don't want to lose you, but I'm going to lose myself because I'm losing my self-worth, my self-identity, who I am as a human being.
Right.
So when I actually cut it, it meant so much to me, so much more to me. So I don't think I was supposed to cut that song until that happened to me.
Right.
And even working virtually with Dream, he's so smart and such a genius. Like, he was like, yeah, add some production. I was like, you want me to touch your song? And so when I sent him the stems of like what I added and stuff. I was like, "You fuck with it?" He's like, "Yeah, I'm keeping it." I said, "Okay." So that was like another like Dream thinks my production's good.
Another moment.
Yeah.
I know you don't need, the approval, but
Yeah.
it feels nice.
Yeah.
Right?
It does.
Which song are you afraid of? Because it allows people to know something about you that
Make it look easy.
it's a very vulnerable song.
It's more vulnerable than people will ever know because there's a lot of things in there that mean something else that no one will know.
We are about to listen to that song, so we're going to talk a little bit more in depth about that. I want to get a couple more other feelers about your beautiful baby, your album, your solo debut. Album is here in pieces. Is there a song that you would play in the bedroom for a little, spicy time?
Ooh, feel me cry.
Would you listen to your own music in a bedroom? Have you? I'm so
So
nosy
it
now.
wasn't, no, it's okay. So it's,
I'm just
I don't mean to
curious.
put this person on blast.
But
We're grown.
yeah, we're adults here.
So the music videos were like on loop on the television and Surprise came on.
Okay, right.
And that's when stuff started getting busy.
Right.
And by the song was over, it was over. And I'm looking at him like, I know that's a short song. I'm like, Surprise.
Surprise. Not. Yeah.
So that was the one time
Yeah.
I have, but it wasn't
It wasn't.
because of me,
Right.
but it made me realize,
Yeah. That was on, and it was a surprise.
Yeah.
Boo. Well, let's talk about it. Make It Look Easy. Very vulnerable song. I get emotional listening to it. I think whoever's listening to this song can find different things that they can connect to and relate to. Why? What is it about this song that was so hard for you?
when I wrote this song, it was around like the 2 weeks of last year, end of last year, when I was just realizing a lot of things and getting a lot of clarity on my life and finding answers to questions that I've had for a very long time. And it made me kind of look at myself a different way because I was like, do I really know who's looking back at me in the mirror?
That's a heavy question.
Mm-hmm.
That's a tough, heavy question.
Yeah, so I felt empty,
Wow.
but at the same time built up because I was getting answers to these questions. And when I went in the studio, I was just going in there to kind of just distract my mind because whenever I create music, that's my happy place.
Right.
And so I was going through this beat pack that a producer sent, and it was me and my female engineer, shout out to Simone. And we were just going through tracks, track, and I was like, next, no. And then I just heard these simple chords. It wasn't really anything that because I wasn't looking to do an emotional record.
Yeah.
And I heard it and I said, can you just put that on? And I'll go into the studio in the booth and I'll cut a bunch of melodies and then kind of Frankenstein them together. But I wrote the melodies and the lyrics all at the same time on my phone in like 5 minutes. And then when I cut it, I had to take a couple breaks because I was getting choked up a lot.
Ooh.
And when I went out of the booth to listen to it, I was almost shocked at how honest I was. And I couldn't really listen to the demo for a few days after that because every time I would, I'd start crying.
Which part of it made you cry? Because I want people to pay attention right when we play the song. Which part really had you choked up? And by the way, your eyes are getting watery now. So it still obviously strikes a chord for you. And people listening right now, I want them to pay attention when we play the song. Is there a part in it that...
The second verse and the bridge. The reason why the second verse is because I'm a workaholic and I think we all have our vices and I use work as one of mine.
Yeah.
And I purposely drown myself into work so I don't have to deal with anything else. And I was honest about that on the second verse where I blind myself with bright lights. That's what I say in there. And then I talk about how honest I am with my fear, like how I have to just suck it up and just continue to go out like everything's fine.
Right.
So I was really honest in that verse, as well as the bridge where it's like, I just want to be a pretty girl, because there's 9 times out of 10 where I feel the opposite. So I think I just wanted to be honest about that, and why I kept repeating it so many times is because I feel all of us as women, we all have a lot of insecurities, and no matter how much makeup, no matter
how much Spanx? I'm wearing like 10 of them now, no matter how much.
Yeah, no matter how fancy we can get dressed up,
Right.
inside we still won't feel beautiful.
That's right.
And it wasn't really being pretty from an aesthetic point of view, but just feeling whole and accepted and good enough.
Yeah.
So that whole song, that's a whole big chunk of my heart right there.
Well, let's get ready to get emotional.
Yeah.
Because I got emotional listening to it. Again, it's going to touch people in a way, whatever they resonate to, for sure.
Yeah.
What would you say is the hardest thing that you've had to overcome in your career?
Ooh.
Listen, you got us in our feelings.
Yeah.
It's very
the
emotional.
hardest thing I've had to overcome in my career.
Or one of the hardest things, because I know it might be hard to pinpoint just one thing.
The main one is believing in myself and knowing that I can do this, because I was telling myself that I can't. I was finding, even though I do it every day and, it's music is my everything, for some reason I would always doubt myself. So that's still a huge one, even currently. And also paying attention to my business.
Wait a minute. Explain that. Because, again, people may only see all the lights, the glam. But when you say business, what's behind all that? And the stresses behind it.
The contracts, the deals, the budgets, things like that. I'm 24, I'll be 25 in July. I gotta know my shit so
That's
that
right.
I don't get screwed over, and I'm being smart, because I wanna have a long-lasting career, and I want it to travel outside of me and have money for my family for generations to come. So I don't want to do all of this work so hard to not see anything come out of it that I can pass on. So I have to be really mindful. And that's what I love about being a woman, because yes, we can be sexy, we can be raw and mushy and vulnerable and cry all the time, but the other side of me is, don't mess with me when it comes to my business and my money.
Right.
And, to be honest, the weight of money, I really don't give two shits about money at all. I see what it's done to people, and I hate it, to be honest. I like what you can get out of it, and money talks.
Right.
But money itself, I hate. But I still got to pay attention, because I need it to survive.
Right.
So.
And it's part of, listen, I mean, I'm with you 100%. And I hate that it has to be like that sometimes, because you do see it. I believe people are who they are. Money just enhances who they are.
Yes.
'Cause a lot of times people have this idea, it changes somebody. No, I just think it shows who they are.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And this is your craft, and you love what you do. And it's easy in this industry for people to dangle it in front of you, right?
Like it's a carrot. But my love doesn't come from that. It comes from the art and things like that. But that's when I have to put on my big girl panties and be like, but it's also a business, Chlöe.
Yeah.
Don't be naive.
Right. And it's all part of this, right? It's you're a businesswoman.
Exactly.
And we talked about, obviously, a songwriter, beautiful voice. You produce. You're so creative. You act, right? And obviously, when we see what you've done, and I'm excited for this journey.
Thank you.
And so when I see, there were some people who are upset about you acting in Swarm and your sexy scene, with dancing.
Yeah.
Did you expect that? Did you expect people to, I don't know, be upset about your sexiness?
So with that, when I read the script,
Yeah.
I was in love. I was like, whoa, right? Because I love psychological thrillers. So I was reading it just as like an audience member.
Right.
It didn't really click that it was me actually doing the sex scene until around 2 days as we started shooting.
Right.
And I felt really comfortable on the set. They had a sexual coach on there, so we both felt protected and comfortable. We both didn't feel anything. And in the moment, I was like, I'm just making art. It was shot on film. It was so cool. You barely saw me. You see me in the reflection of the mirror. Nobody saw anything they haven't seen from me before, if I'm being completely honest. I always have like thong panties on or something. I mean, you just saw a
Go
little.
to your Instagram.
Yeah, go to my Instagram. You know, all they really heard was moaning, which people claim I do when I sing anyway. So I mean, yeah, there wasn't really anything new that people have seen from me if you really think about it. I think it just ramped it up because it was me.
Right. But why do you think that is? Is it because people have seen you grow?
Yes, that's exactly what it is.
Okay. And now that gives us a conversation,
Yeah.
right? Like,
yeah.
You're a young woman. You're no longer a child.
Exactly.
Right? And do you feel at times you want to just scream that to the world?
Sometimes I do, but at the same time, I can't fault them because
You understand.
I understand because, like, even if there's like child star actors or from my favorite TV shows and I see them older and they're older than me, I'm like, what? She's grown. So I can understand that side. I don't understand the hate that comes from it.
Right. I mean, right.
Because I'm like, if you just knew me, you'd like me. I'm a nice person.
Yeah.
But I got to be honest, some of the jokes online crack me up, like the moaning compilations and the old, oh, now it makes sense that she's homeschooled because now she's going crazy now. And things like that.
But at least you
It
find
makes me
the
laugh.
humor in it, right? You're
Yeah.
not taking yourself too serious where you can't laugh along at
Yeah.
times. But there's things that could hurt your feelings, right?
Absolutely.
You know, but I also think social media, as much as there could be good, that's the downside of it, right? There's sometimes things, a lot of times there's things that are said that are really hurtful and painful, but you've done a great job maneuvering this world, and I'm proud of you. It's not easy.
It's not. Make it look easy.
Make it look
Can I
easy.
share a story?
Yes.
That
Yes, please share it.
when I was in New York City, I was in the car and I was listening to all the demos to like sequence the album and everything. So when Make It Look Easy came on, like at the very ending, when you hear like the chant of like Make It Look Easy, that the choir sang on, who was the same choir on Prayed Away, shout out to them. As that part was going, I saw a single mom with her child walking down the street. I saw a homeless man, and I saw like a man with a briefcase who looked like really in his head and upset. And as I was passing them in the car, it literally felt like a music video. You just kept hearing, Make It Look Easy. So it made me feel like the song was bigger than myself because all of us are going through shit.
That's right.
Every single one of us, we are all going through something.
Right.
And we're all making it look easy just by showing up and being present for the day.
Right.
So that's also what doesn't get me swallowed in my sadness because I know I'm not going through it alone.
We all are going through something.
Yeah, it's about how we get back up from it.
Right.
So that's why I will never shy away from talking about it or mental health or seeing somebody or anything like that because it's important.
Was there a time you were scared to talk about it? Because you felt like, oh my gosh, people are going to judge me. I'm being too vulnerable.
No. I'm an open book, even in my life. Like, sometimes I say too much.
But that's okay.
Yeah.
Right.
Because I wear my heart on my sleeve.
That's right.
And I don't hide who I am. I never have. And now I'm learning to protect myself. I don't have to hide myself, but just put a little shield of protection.
That's right.
Like,
Boundaries.
Boundaries. You don't get to have this part of me. Yeah.
Well, I have a bonus track that I must play.
Yes.
Because, wow, out the gate, you're setting a certain tone. Okay?
Yeah. Okay.
I feel selfish for doing this because I just sprung it on everybody last minute. But we have to do this right now. Body Do.
Body Do. Oh, that was another 5-minute song. Okay, so this was around the time after I found the panties.
Now give us the backstory of this song.
Okay, so the backstory of this song, if you listen to the lyrics, it's quite sad and toxic.
Absolutely.
The beat is so fun, like you just busy working and popping your ass, you're not really realizing what the lyrics are actually saying.
Toxic.
So I was in LA with my engineer, Pac. It was Pac and Simone, who I really worked with a lot on this record, and Chris Godby, who mixed it. Shout out to you, Chris. He would let me like sit there and be so detailed with him. I love you. Shout out to you. Anyways. So I was in the studio and there was this track and you hear, It's like, ooh, yeah. And I've always loved FK Twigs. I've always loved
Yes.
Ego Death with Skrillex and Kanye. And I've always wanted a song like that. I never knew when I'd be able to make one, but it's been one of my favorite songs. So as infectious as the beat felt, I was like, I want to write a sad song on top of this. And this was when I was missing the person, even though I knew he wasn't being faithful. And I was like,
The
that's
cheater. This
yeah,
is the cheater.
the cheater. And that's where the lyric, I deserve better, but I want the feeling I know. It's like, and I'm saying, just do the lying in me. Like, instead of lying to me and lying to my face, just
Yeah.
come here on the
Yeah.
bed. But it was a longing for the person that I knew wasn't good for me. And it's,
And you found panties, and that's how you knew he was cheating on you.
yes. And
Wow.
the hook lyric says, you know I can't trust you as far as I can throw you, but let me see what that body do. And it's like, because I can see you physically in front of me, I know what you're doing, so I'll trust you for right now. Let me see what that body does.
Okay, so you opened up the song, lots of energy. Have you thought this? Have you wondered if your man was sleeping with somebody else?
Absolutely. And then I'll try to search and find context clues as to who it is, but that ends up just driving myself crazy.
And that's how you found out he was cheating on you, because one of the pieces of evidence was the panties.
Yes.
Now, was the panties at your house, his house? Like,
His.
where was couch, bed?
Hamper.
It gets worse.
Yeah.
And then what do? Do you hold it up and confront him?
I did, just like I did in Cheat Back video with Future. I
That
did.
was it.
I said, what is this? And I left.
And that was
I
it.
don't yell or anything. I just show evidence and I leave. And my favorite part of this song is, like, the first verse is like coming from such an insecure place. And then the second verse, it's like, listen,
Right.
I don't care who you've been with. I don't care who you've had before or after me. They're not like me.
Ooh.
And I love the, because who the mother bitches that you had, I don't even really like to brag, but they're not heaven like this. And then it's like, when you touch my body, I'm going to make sure you forget. I'm going to make sure you forget everybody you've been with, because no one's as special as me.
Lots of toxicity.
It's so
here.
toxic. It's so toxic. And then I love, because it brings it back, I deserve better,
I know.
but I want the feeling that I know, because it's familiar. You know my body, I know yours. We're comfortable with each other. I know better. So that's why I really love that song, because I was honest about my back and forth feelings.
Oh, yeah, we learned a lot, Chloe. I didn't know this was happening in your world, but thank you for sharing it. It's all here. You poured your heart out on your solo debut album. Congratulations.
Thank you.
In pieces, available everywhere. You're going to be talking to your fans real soon. I know they've been waiting for that moment. But Chloe, I am so proud of you.
Thank you.
What do you want people to take away from your album?
I want people to know that no matter how broken down you are, no matter how many scars or battle wounds that you have, that doesn't make you anything less than perfect. It just adds to that. And there's strength in where we've come from. And I want myself, I want everyone who's been going through something to wear their past and traumas and baggage as armor almost. Like, because of that, this is who I am. And because of that, I'm still standing.
In pieces, available everywhere. We're all cheering you on.
Thank you.